Thank you, Dan. I'm here with a sad Dan.
I'm not sad.
She's in a salty mood. But we're recording a podcast, so spark up.
I'm Sparky.
Spark. So today's podcast, we are talking, well, we're not talking, we are answering questions that we posted on our socials and in our members group. Pretty short and sharp one today. Obviously, everyone in our members group anyway is a black belt in health and fitness, so they were across most things. Most of the questions have come from social media, actually, so we'll get started with some of those. Anything else, Dan, before we get stuck into it? She looks like she just wants to unleash something, but I can't tell if it's about me or not, so I'm probably trying a little bit of dangerous grounds.
Let's just get into the questions. Thanks, Ben.
It's definitely about me. Pray for me after this. Alright, so the first one is tips to be more accountable at home with the workouts. So that would be our workouts that we're sending out. But I guess this stuff, this question relates to any workouts that someone might be completing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually had someone say to us, Tanya, thank you, Tanya, for this advice, saying that if she viewed the workout like before she was ready to do it, so before she was like in her clothes and ready to go, then she'd talk herself out of it, like during the day, like, oh, I'll do that later. Because the way our workouts are delivered, they get a notification. So a trick for her was to not actually open it until she was ready to do it. But as a general rule, I'd say to people, like, try and stay as consistent as possible to your normal exercise routine. So if you normally train in the mornings, continue to train in the mornings. And put it in the calendar like you would any other appointment. It's just your appointment is obviously not at a different location. It may be in your lounge room. But try and keep it regular, I say.
Yeah, I think it's just you want to try and find ways at home to keep it as much like the gym as you can. So for our guys, as you mentioned, they don't know the session until they get there. So try not to look until you're ready to go. That way you're already in that mindset of I'm about to train, and you're far less likely to be like, oh, looks a bit hard, I might, try again later on. You just remove the barrier.
Yep.
I agree with everything you've said and don't have anything to add, which is I'm just trying to cushion the blow for whatever you say after the podcast. So the next one, and this one is one that we talk about a lot, but is how do I cut down on snacking?
So, do you need to, is my first question. Like, I feel like people are getting a little bit carried away with...
Yeah, so that's a hard question without context. But let's imagine it's a person who does need to.
Okay. So...
In regards to what they've told us they're trying to achieve.
Okay.
So it's like I'm trying to either lose a little bit of weight or just clean up my nutrition in general. This would be someone who could probably look at cutting down on their snacking a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Well, now we are in the ideal situation because we are in control of everything we eat with very little influence from anybody else. So everything we have in our pantry, we have gone to the shops and we have purchased and we've thought about it beforehand. So a lot of the time when we talk about food and snacking, we talk about...
Can I just pause you there?
Oh.
That's a really positive mindset on the situation that not a lot of people have. So a lot of people would be approaching this, like the lockdown and being at home all the time is, oh no, I'm at home, so now, I can't stop myself, I go to the fridge. Like, it's the negative spin on what could potentially be a positive situation. So you're looking at it as that, wow, I've never had a better opportunity to cook all my meals and prep all my meals, whereas someone might be looking at it as though I've never had less accountability.
Yeah.
Now it's completely up to me, and they maybe don't trust themselves.
Yeah, well, how you look at a situation, it's always going to vary from person to person.
Yeah.
But fact is, we are all adults, and we are all in control of what we purchase.
Yep.
Correct?
I agree.
So, and having said that, like when I say, I was just about to go into mindfulness when you had that point there about how people approach it. When we buy stuff, so when we go to the supermarket, we're in a different mindset to when we're at home, bored, you know,
What's in the
craving
fridge.
something, what's
Yeah.
in the fridge. So when you're at the supermarket, try and be in that good positive mindset so you're not buying things to sabotage yourself.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
the old saying, never go hungry.
yeah, absolutely. I tell people that all the time.
Yeah, it's a small one, but it's very easy just to pick up stuff.
Yeah, don't buy
Oh.
snacks you wouldn't usually buy. Like,
Yep.
don't have it readily available. Because if you really want it, you can go out to the shops and you can have it.
We say this all the time. Like, what was it? I used the other day. You were like, I really want an apple strudel.
Yes, he didn't get me one. Can you believe it?
I didn't get. She was like, "Can you go and get me an apple strudel?" I was like, "You know what? If in half an hour you really want one, I'll go and get you one." And like we'd already, I was ready to go and get you one.
You know
Just
what
so
I
everyone
ate
knows.
instead of the apple strudel, guys?
You're yelling. You've thrown off our sound balance. Like we already had the watermelon cut up in the fridge. It was ready to go.
Watermelon.
I was ready to go and
That's
get the
what I ate.
strudel
Yes.
until you decided that no, I don't actually need the strudel.
Yes, and I did not have strudel and I had watermelon.
And just before anyone gets crazy, the strudel is not a metaphor for anything else, but
No.
apple strudel.
Yes, I did want apple
With
strudel.
ice cream.
Yes.
Yes.
Vanilla ice cream. Mm-mm.
Anyway, so if we had the strudel in the house,
Yes, if that was in the freezer, absolutely.
strudel was getting eaten.
It was gone.
Didn't have the strudel.
No.
Willing partner ready to go and get the strudel, but you
But
decided
you
against it.
weren't.
No, but
Listen to yourself, willing partner.
I know you, and I was like, you know what?
She'll be cranky.
I was ready to, I was ready to go and get it. It was also 7:30 on a Saturday. I couldn't be bothered, so
The truth comes out.
I dragged it out a little bit to make sure it was something you absolutely wanted. So anyway, lesson for the listeners: if it was at home, we would have eaten it.
Yes.
If you really wanted it, I would have got it.
Yep.
But you didn't really want it, so we didn't have it.
Yep.
Win-win-win.
Yep.
All round.
So we've touched on what's available in the house and the mindset of like when you purchase things. I think that's actually really, really important. So try and make your environment as positive as possible. So we all need snacks. So just make sure what is available is a good option. So that comes to our next point. So what do we actually have in the house?
Yeah, is it of a high quality?
Yeah, high quality. So we always have fruit in our house.
Fruit, number one.
The kids, yeah, especially for the kids, they love it, and it's always a great option. Nuts, something that's gonna fill you.
Hard-boiled eggs is a great snack, I reckon.
Yeah, agree.
For like high reward, low cost, sort of like not a massive, I guess, calorie meal or something like that in the afternoon, but fills you up and gives you good nutrients.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably not something a lot of people would go for because generally people associate snacking
But would
with
they
something.
even think of it?
No, that's true.
Like-
they may not.
Yeah, and sometimes our choices can be limited by what we think we should be eating at that time. Like, I can't eat hard-boiled eggs at 3 o'clock. It's like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Who said you can't?
Yeah.
I think that's an outstanding option.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, like same as on our breakfast podcast. I had roast for breakfast this morning.
He was a hungry boy this morning.
Roast.
Yeah.
That was weird
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's expanding your horizons as well. As a point that I also make with clients all the time in regards to snacking is when people try and cut down their snacking, why don't you just if you're finding that you're genuinely hungry and not just like looking for something to do, why don't you just have larger meals?
Yeah.
So, and we say this because lots of clients, like if we grade their meal options out of 10, maybe they're at a 7 or an 8, but the snack options, maybe the snack options around the house, especially if you got kids, like you might have some, we'd have like biscuits or just like snacky sort of, like crackers and cheese and that sort of stuff, and we might grade that a 4 out of 10. Like, why don't you, eat more of the 8 out of 10 option that you had at lunch, and then you'd be
You might
less
not want that snack.
you'd be less likely to have a snack, and you sort of doubling down on where you're already strong.
Yeah, I feel like people have a really, really strong focus on quantity
Yeah.
and a really, really, really poor focus on quality.
But the quality can take care of the quantity.
Absolutely.
And you kill two birds with one
Exactly,
stone.
you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, that's something else also to be aware of.
Take home points for snacking is trying to control your environment as best you can by only having quality options at home. Take home point number 2 is if you're finding that you're hungry in between meals, eat more of those meals. And what was point number 3 is...
Oh, we're just saying about being mindful.
Yeah, like the reason for the snack.
Yeah.
So that's sort of... I guess those points were aimed at a person who had the goal of weight loss and they felt that snacking was letting them down. Pretty simple. For a person who's like, so let's say someone who doesn't have a weight loss goal, but they still feel like snacking is holding them back. It's like, well, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like holding you back from what?
Yeah. If anything, just try and improve the quality. That's it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it.
If you're hungry, eat. Oh, one other thing also that we haven't noted, hydration. So you want to make sure. A lot of people do reach for food when actually they're just a little bit dehydrated. So just make sure that you are staying on top of your fluid.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're at home and, you know, you maybe aren't as prepared with your, you know, like not carrying a water bottle or something like that. And that is a good one to get into, is just making sure that it's on your desk while you're working or carrying it around.
Yep.
Next question.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Child needs help with his short game in golf. Get a coach. Next question. How does porridge with Chobani yogurt and berries rate for breakfast? So this would have come after our breakfast podcast last week. How would you rate that out of 10, Dan?
That sounds pretty good to me. I'd probably go a 7.
7. Gee, you're a harsh marker. I'm giving it an 8.5, 9.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Go Bosch.
But like if we
I
go
thought that
through,
might be just a little bit low in protein for you to rate it that high.
well, the Chobani yogurt.
Chobani is good.
I was gonna give him points.
Okay.
For the yogurt, especially Chobani, the brand overall has a little bit more protein than others. So, you know what? And I'm the person who craps on about protein a lot. So
yeah, that's why I was surprised.
Don't talk me off my mark though.
Sorry.
So I'm happy with an 8.
It's still very, very good breakfast option.
Still very good. Like if we break it down, source of protein, yep, with the yogurt.
Yep.
Quality source of carbohydrates with the oats,
tick.
perfect, and fruit.
Yep.
What's not to love?
Beautiful.
Micronutrients good, macronutrients good, quality good. Bang.
Well done.
Breakfast done. Don't need to overcomplicate it, just need to enjoy it and do it consistently.
Exactly. Did you enjoy it? Yes. That's great.
Can you do it often, not once or twice a week? Yes. Then it sounds like a continuable habit to us. Perfect. Final question for today. Percussive massage. Effectiveness, benefits, any signs to it? Discuss. So this would be like a Theragun or one of those guns that basically uses like fast little whacks into your muscles to help loosen it up.
Yeah. Well, it is a form of self-massage.
Yeah.
And that...
Massage works.
Yeah, massage works, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not much...
They're very new. So
yeah.
In regards to, like, we know percussive therapy works, but in regards to the actual application of using the, like, self-massage gun, there's not that much on that.
Yeah, I haven't read anything, to be honest.
From what I've read on it, it seems to work pretty well at this stage, but it's largely anecdotal, which means that it's largely like, oh, it worked for me, rather than, oh, we've got this double-blind study, blah, 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 over 3 years. You know, like, the real science is, like, it hasn't quite caught up yet.
Yeah.
But lots of people I've spoken to, like, I went to an osteo who used it. One of my mates is an osteo, he likes it. So there's plenty of good reports around it. But, I mean, it depends on the model you get, but some of them are pretty expensive. Like, if I was going to be dropping, you know, $500 on it, I'd want to know that it's absolutely going to help. But there's also cheaper versions out there.
Yeah, I was about to say I'd probably try a cheaper version, and if I found it worked for me, then I'd probably be willing to invest a little bit more in it.
The only concern I would have with the cheaper versions is if they've, like, does it still include what the expensive ones have in regards to, like, is there any kind of frequency or stuff like that where you sort of lose the benefits of it. And to that, I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what makes it work, and if the cheaper ones still have that in them, or if
Yeah.
they've lost that, just trying to make it cheaper for the consumer.
Yeah.
But yes, they do seem to work, but I guess as the years move on, we'll find out more about it. Certainly, if it does work, it's a super easy thing to use.
Yeah.
Like
At your fingertips, at
so
home.
easy
Yeah.
for the consumer just to be able to, like, watching telly, just punch out their quads,
Yeah.
you know, or get their partner to do their back. Or I know we've sort of got one at home that William loves sticking it into my calves. So, like, it's super
That's-
accessible for the
Yeah, yeah.
consumer to use. So if it does work, definitely can I borrow it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please invest for us and
Yeah, and let us know.
let us know.
All right, that is it for today's questions. Short and sharp one this week on this ISO Monday. But yeah, we hope everyone's well as we're into lockdown 2.0, that everyone isn't too flat. We know we've had our flat periods. But yeah, I don't know. It's just sort of seem to be taking the ups with the downs at the moment. But hopefully these infection numbers can start to come down, and we can hopefully look at the prospect of opening up soon or doing something, or sort of like, please.
That would be really nice.
Yeah, it'd be good. But yeah, we hope everyone's well, and if you're not, please feel free to shoot us a message, and we're always here for a chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.